folks. That's right. Anyone who follows Apple stock today, or really just any tech news, you know that Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference was today. So obviously we're going to take a look at some of the stuff announced. It's worth looking at. Obviously, I have a pretty big position in Apple, and I hope you do too. I mean, you'll be happy if you do. But you see reaction from the stock today, nothing significant. Overall was downward, and we saw a little bit of an upward trend thanks to some of the announcements that they did. So nothing too crazy though. The reaction wasn't super well received, nor was it negative. So one thing to consider when you look at the stock. But from my perspective, you look at this bad boy and you look over the last 6 months, and you haven't seen much growth here. Since January, just no movement at all. So we'd like to see some upward mobility here. But let's take a look at some of the announcements today. Obviously, Mr. Tim Apple here talking about software developers just starts it out. He starts it out in front of this lovely back screen, as you can see. We'll zoom it in for you. I mean, don't you just love the Apple avatar emoji thingies that are 3D that you can talk with? Yeah, that's right. So one big thing here, slight drama with Facebook, no doubt. New features for announced on iOS 15. Obviously, they announced iOS 15, pretty massive. Their new operating software. New features build a closed-off social network for Apple, letting you share Apple News stories, Apple Music tracks, and even hold FaceTime video chats with non-iPhone users, which is obviously pretty significant, right? Instead of being just, lack to, FaceTime and stuff with people who just have iPhones, you can do it with non-iPhones. So that's pretty big step for them, because typically they're very key on keeping their stuff to themselves. Zuckerberg said he's considers Apple a major competitor because of iMessage, and now that they're building out of their native platform on just iOS and able to use elsewhere, obviously there's some negativity towards Facebook as people are able to use iMessage across the platform. And of course, as they say, they will promote privacy of the social features. Again, a huge thing for Apple, they always mention it's privacy, right? Privacy that you deserve. Now, a thing you got to consider here. Look, no matter who you're giving your info to, your data is not secure. I'm just going to be honest. Apple's selling your data like no one's business. They just don't necessarily say it. Facebook just got caught doing it. That's about it. But Apple's not keeping your data secure. Let's just be clear. They're selling it to advertisers like no one's business. That's how they make money, right? We're not naive here. So, I mean, again, they talk about it, but it is whatever it is. So, next, a little bullet point. We have some good stuff here. I mean, there's so much good data here. Obviously, here are some of the new features of iOS 15. So we have FaceTime improvements with 3D audio, portrait mode to blur backgrounds, and a grid view to speak to multiple people at the same time. Pretty cool. Obviously, video chats are significant like that. Apple will also allow users to send links to schedule individual FaceTime calls, similar to Zoom. Pretty cool. Obviously, if you've been in the corporate world or anything, you've used Zoom probably. And you set a link up for a specific time where you have a meeting. Pretty nice. They can also share their screens or music through a new software feature called Share Time, similar to what you do on those platforms as well. FaceTime calls are now supported on Windows, Android through a browser, which is crazy. Again, a cross-platform for FaceTime is pretty significant for them because they've never done anything like that before. iMessage redesign, which includes features that turn message photos into galleries. They have a shared with you feature, which saves links that people send you and puts them in one place so you can address them later. Obviously, like a view later type of situation. So in case someone sends you a link and then you try to look for it, a week down the road, you don't have to go searching. It's all saved in a specific spot there. Works with Apple Music, Safari, Podcasts, Apple TV, Apple News. Can pin important messages featuring content. So again, you can save that for later. If you were to, you find a headline is interesting and you wanted to read it later, you can pin it and save it for later. They redesign notifications, including a feature that collects users' notifications into a custom summary ordered by priority. So pretty cool. If a text is priority, then that's cool. Users who have turned on Do Not Disturb or Focus Mode, which is obviously, as they said, it will give you an update on what's most important. That's the focus mode. Will have their status shared with other users, like an away message. So again, pretty much, this is going to be a smack in the face. I'll just tell you that right now. If you're texting someone, but you see that they're on focus mode and you've been silenced, let's just be clear with each other. You're not priority in their life, right? They're just going to say, you don't matter to me, okay? It's gonna be breaking some friendships. Let's just accept that. Focus mode can hide any apps that you don't want to distract you, like text. And if they don't want you to distract them with text, look, I'm gonna be upset with the person. We've seen supposedly camera improvements going on here. Features called live text that can automatically identify and scan text and photographs, which would be pretty cool. Similar to what the Google Pixel does, for sure. Apple's machine learning will be able to identify elements in photos such as locations, or whether there's a pet in the scene. Apple's System Search Spotlight will search these elements similar to how Google does it with their phones. A feature called Memories will use machine learning to combine photos into relevant galleries or animations, and sometimes add music from Apple Music. Pretty cool, right? They're updating and expanding the Wallet app functionality to include corporate badges as well as keys to get into hotels. That's pretty darn cool for sure, in my opinion. So that way you don't necessarily have to worry about losing whatever you might have, whether it be a badge or hotel key. That's pretty cool. Apple's going to support scanning US IDs such as driver license into their wallet too. That's pretty cool. It's only supported in some states right now as well, and the TSA will accept it. They'll accept that. So, pretty cool, but obviously as it develops and more states use it, it'll be nice to have. And the Safari browser on iPhone can support the same extensions that the desktop version of Safari does. So, yeah, pretty cool. Updates there for iOS 15. Obviously the main portion of this, no doubt. So, what else do we have? We have Apple Maps getting updates. Look at that. Apple is updating the map software with new 3D data. Now, this does look like some 2-year-old made this with clay, but it is pretty cool, right? You can see a 3D map of specific areas. Typically, it's going to be specific landmarks that you'll be able to see this. Otherwise, it's going to be just, as you see on the sides here, gray and boring. But landmarks and stuff, they'll be highlighting and having data for it. But I'm assuming as it updates, as they update this map, eventually a lot of this stuff will get filled out, and you'll be able to see, some of the finer details. Is what I'm pretty sure is true. So a new feature is coming to AirPods called Conversation Boost, which helps people understand who they're talking to in a real-time busy environment. They can adjust ambient background noise level to help improve audio, so you can hear, if someone's, when you're in the middle of a crowded, busy place, this can help you focus more, canceling out that background noise. That's right. So you can hear the person's voice a little bit easier, or even the music, depending on what you wanted to do. So, yeah, could be pretty cool, for sure. We also see here new iPad software called iPadOS 15. iPadOS 15 includes new ways to rearrange apps, put widgets on the home app library feature, and formerly an iPhone exclusive that automatically organizes apps. Pretty cool. They introduced new multitasking interface that makes it easier to put two apps side by side. Boom. So you could technically use both at once if you needed to. Or in my case, better sense of it, you could obviously put something like an internet search on the right side and notes or something on the left where you could type that out. So you can do both at once, not have to switch back and forth between the two. The new version of the Translate app for iPads will allow users to speak and have discussion translated on the screen in real time. Sorry about that one. That one's rough for me. And apps for learning how to code. Swift Playgrounds, which is the app for learning how to code, can build full apps, which can be submitted to the Apple App Store apparently, which should be pretty cool. If you're an app developer, you could maybe make some money off some fake mobile games. Yeah. So. Let's see, nothing crazy here. Obviously, they're just beefing up the iPad. So Siri is used by 600 million devices worldwide each month, is what they're saying. Is their update on Siri usage. So again, I don't use voice assistant, but I get people who do. I just don't think it necessarily works as well as I might have hoped for vocal assistance. But it's fine. I just type things personally. It's a pretty cool feature, though, obviously, if you use it. But they're beefing up privacy protection, as they say, rolling out a tracker. That one's rough. That one hurt bad. It's rolling out tracker blockers in its Mail app, which will help hide your IP address, location, and prevent senders from seeing if and when you open an email. Apple is adding to an app tracker report sections to settings, where you can see how often apps use info in the last 7 days to help to find out third-party domains. Find out third-party domains app is contacting, and find out third-party domains app is who, what, I don't know. Very confusing. Obviously, Miss Jessica Burstinsky needs to learn how to type. Finally, Apple said Siri will support offline speech recognition, which means it's more private but also faster, since some commands won't have to be sent to the cloud first. So you can say things like start a timer, set a notification on the calendar, stuff like that, stuff that you don't have to search online. So pretty cool, I guess. But again, privacy features, they say what they want, but we know what it is. They talk about iCloud Plus here, which is yet a new service to boost to their massive service catalog. They obviously already had Cloud to begin with, but iCloud Plus now, brand new. Additional features for online privacy. It's included in the current iCloud prices, so just an improvement on what they have. The most significant feature is Private Relay, which routes web traffic through two separate servers to mask who is using the internet, like a VPN would. Makes sense. VPN's pretty significant nowadays. iCloud Plus also has a feature called Hide My Email, which allows users to use placeholder email address when signing up for new features, instead of having to use their normal email address. So again, it's a security thing for them, but it does what it does. So apparently here the iPhone can monitor your walking, similar to a watch, the Apple Watch, which I guess you don't necessarily might need after that. It can measure balance, stability, coordination, and warn users if they're more at risk to fall. Interesting. The metric app Apple is synthesizing is called walking steadiness. If the user has an increased risk of falling, Apple will send you a notification. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, I think that's more maybe for people more at risk of falling, but not necessarily, person of my age potentially, but who knows. Health app can store medical records. Also includes additional details about various health metrics like cholesterol. Apple has built features interfacing with health record companies, allowing health app data to be shared with their doctors and also to people looking to advertise. But that is correct. So pretty cool to see. The Apple Watch OS 8, right? It's all about operating systems here. New version of the Apple Watch software includes new watch face, how the appearance looks. That can use photos taken in portrait mode as the background. New feature allowing users to write text with their fingers and send in messages directly on the watch. Now, again, typically you'd have to do voice to text on the watch or type on your phone. I don't know how it's necessarily going to look. It's a small watch face, so I don't know how you're going to be able to type effectively, but I'm curious what that looks like. They updated the Breathe app, which guides users through brief breathing exercises, and including an app called Mindfulness, which can show you quotes inspirational and meditation adjacent phrases called reflections. Interesting. And the Fitness Plus service for the iPhone will also gain several new workouts, supposedly. That's pretty cool. We have the HomePod Mini, being able to request shows on TV and work as TV speakers, which is pretty cool. So obviously HomePod, think about it. I mean, Amazon's got them. Everyone's got the HomePod. Google's got them. Everyone's got these home speakers that are connected. Now, Apple apparently says they're going to do a little bit more. So you can tell it to turn to a channel on Apple TV, which is interesting. I mean, how effective it is, I'm sure it's pretty good knowing their software, but it's pretty cool. And you can obviously link it up as a stereo sound for your TV. We have macOS Monterey. They also have cheese Monterey Jack. It's pretty good cheese if you haven't consumed it. macOS. So the mouse cursor can move back and forth between iPad and between the iPad and a Mac laptop or desktop. Pretty interesting to see that. I don't know. It'd be pretty weird, but universal control, meaning you could technically have a dual monitor setup, but which is weird, by the way. So apparently potential for potential dual monitor setup here, but not necessarily monitors. Even you could have the Mac, you could have an iPad, and you could have a Mac tablet. So we'll see what that looks like as far as functionality, but pretty cool. New tool to turn photos into 3D models. Curious what that also looks like as well. So one of the biggest new technologies, turning 2D images into 3D models. Their example was a sneaker that they showed. So another really just use of augmented reality and what that looks like. Yeah, photos in 3D space. Be pretty interesting to see. That actually worked in where it's at. The App Store has 600 million weekly visitors, supposedly, is what they're saying. So that's pretty cool as well. And that's pretty well where they ended it. Obviously, pretty crazy stuff. Beta software will be available for developers and early adopters in the coming month. They released to the public in the fall. So all the new stuff, that's what you got for today. Overall, I think it's pretty good news for the stock. It's basic news. That's why you didn't see necessarily a massive jump. They didn't announce anything groundbreaking. Just the basic stuff. Upgrades to operating softwares. A little bit of improvement in some technologies, but you wouldn't expect much there either. So they're not necessarily announcing all these new products. It's going to be about software updates. So that's where Apple's going to really stay relevant. Curious to see how some of these necessarily work and how people, how people take them. We'll see what that reaction's like, but overall, nothing too crazy. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this one. Hope you have a good one.